what we should do.
Gayest thing I've heard.
What do you mean? That'd be pretty
and
sick.
I heard you say Jizzy today, so that's saying a lot.
All right, guys, welcome to the podcast.
Welcome
My
back.
name is Moses Malone, and I'm joined here by
Carl Malone.
Carl Juan Malone. Juani Malone, I want to call him. And we're about to partake in an activity called Smoking the Jizzy. Hector,
Oh, dude, this is
light up the jizzy, bro.
Bro, what?
Light up the jizz.
Most suspect comments. I thought we weren't doing this today.
Today we're doing it
Why are we doing this?
because we need to do it. Christ is calling us. So for the first time in a long time, I don't have a lighter around here.
So I'm not lighting it.
So Hector, I
Get
need
fucked.
you to go get
I'm
a
not
lighter,
going.
bro.
No.
Cause
No, you can do this after, bro. We don't have the time. You gotta go. You gotta wax your balls and.
All right. Well, at least partake with this. with
Jesus,
me.
I have no idea what the fuck this is, dude.
Yeah. So don't worry about it. So welcome to Funny But Fucking
How do you
Foul,
just, you just hit the
you
thing?
motherfuckers. Yo, you're a mechanical engineer. And you're asking me how to light up a vape.
I don't do.
You
vapes,
should be
bro.
ashamed of
I
yourself,
don't do vapes,
sir.
bro. I
You
play
have
innocent.
went from making robotics into being a robot.
Yeah, that's
Don't
right,
know
bro.
how to use a vape.
I gotta.
What's next?
I gotta plead ignorance on this
Are
thing.
you not an American?
I mean, I am.
Yes, you are. Exactly. Hit that vape. You gotta hit it for longer than that, bro.
Fuck. I don't want to go hard. I don't want to fuck
No,
myself
no,
up.
no.
Last time I did a pen.
You're not gonna fuck yourself up. Don't hold it though. Don't hold it.
Yeah. I did that
don't hold it.
last time I did a pen. I held it. Oh my god, dude, greened. I'm gonna just do that for now. Oh, that fucks, freaks me out. All right, welcome back. This is a different format. Oh, buddy, what? Right? Are you all right?
There's something wrong with this battery.
Oh, okay. You freaked me out. I was like, oh, it's got instant green down. I'm like, well, thanks for joining us.
Let me tell
We'll
you a
be back.
quick greenhouse story. You have a greenhouse story?
Oh yeah, it's just
Let's call this the 30-second greenhouse story.
okay. I once hit a pen way too hard and it greened out for like 4 hours.
Yeah, but that's just 4 hours. That's not a greenhouse. Greenhouse like you pass out.
Yeah, but I passed. I was gone,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was
All right.
gone.
Okay, fair enough.
but it lasted for
Shout
for a
out.
while.
Here's a
And I
30-second
was
greenhouse story.
surrounded by like my coworkers. It's pretty bad.
I went to a sorority party in UBC. I've said this before
You have.
on the podcast. Some girl gave me a brownie, and it was like a platter of brownies. She was like
Yeah,
holding it. Have you gone to a sorority party?
No.
Okay, they just come up to you and they have like these like games and shit and like kind of production and intro thing that they do.
Fuck.
They've like rehearsed this.
I'm
shit.
not surprised.
That's what they do. Gamma, hot that bit. It's all that shit. And then this chick was walking around. They like walk around with drinks and they walk around with fucking little fucking
Yeah,
edibles. I pop open 3 edibles. 19 years old. At that time, you knew me. I wasn't even getting high.
Yeah,
That was sober Armand. Different kind of guy.
very different.
What
guy.
could he have been?
We're gonna talk about something similar to that actually today. But yes, what could that guy have been?
Probably not funny, bro. That guy probably is ultra aggressive, very fucking. I would say he has an anger problem.
There's, I think, a universe out there where there's a version of Armin out there that didn't get high, went to school, and became a very upstanding, unstable member of society.
Like hacking into fucking biomedical labs and just taking scan codes and DNA of how
Yeah,
I can grow my
basically.
dick.
So like, still being very productive and like intelligent and creative and all that, but also kind of like a little scumbag.
An absolute scumbag, sir. You put that scumbag right beside where you put Mister on my name, sir. Because that's what I achieved in life. This is scumbaggery. There's a word in Farsi. It's called kullah bardar, which means a guy that can put on hats on you, which means he can deceive you.
Okay.
All right. So I told you before, Farsi and Turkish, there's a lot of metaphor in the language.
Yes,
That doesn't really
you-
mean what
you
it
ha-
means.
You have mentioned this in the past.
And when I speak Farsi to my mom, I always brag like I'm some like pull up either motherfucker, some
Yeah.
deceiver, right? And she's just like, you fucking
Get
idiot.
the fuck out of here.
She's like, you fucking idiot. That's not a good thing.
Yeah.
She's like, you're a bitch.
Fuck.
Anyway, ChatGPT. What do you like about it?
Have you used it?
Yes.
You have an account?
Yes.
Nice. Me too. I've used it
It gets boring.
a handful. I haven't used it a lot. I know some guys who are in programming that use it a lot more on a daily basis than I have. I've only asked like stupid shit, not dumb questions, but stuff that you could probably figure out on Google.
Yeah.
But there are other people that I've met as well that have started using it for like marketing pitches because they don't like they realize want to sit down here fucking 3 hours brainstorming some bullshit. I could just get the ChatGPT to bullshit for me, and then I can pick whatever the best ones are. So that kind of stuff, like workflow optimization, is awesome from what I've seen. But it has to be almost like at a base level. If you ask it to go way too in depth in a subject, that's where it starts to lose itself a bit. Like programming, you can ask it programming questions, but if you know what you're talking about, you'll notice there's some mistakes in what ChatGPT.
Not only
ChatGPT
mistakes,
like,
but it's just incorrect. Sometimes you can't, bro. You can only specify a prompt so much.
yeah, true.
Like, how are you gonna tell it 900,000 lines of code? Because like there's these guys work on projects that's like 1 million lines of code, 2 million lines of code, and then they over the years, if they stay with that company, they become very sub of a product. So like a guy, he might be front end, back end, or whatever, but he's only working on a very small portion of a project. There's like 20 members on a project team.
The one nice thing that I've noticed about ChatGPT when it comes to stuff like this, where you know there's going to be mistakes somewhere in the answer, so you know that a lot of it's good, but also there's like holes. You can ask it for its source, so like where you just ask it where are you getting this information from, and it'll give you all the primary source information, and then you can look it up at that point and see what's legit and what's not. So in a way, it's like an optimized Google search that takes away all like the junk, right? Because it's just telling you stuff instead of Google just giving you a fucking million results and you got to comb through all that shit.
It'd be really cool to get to a point where you can ask it questions and it gives you factual information based on like true resources that are validified. For example, like any conspiracy theory, you can ask it and it can verify it. God, verified. Like we would have to. That's the beauty of it, is like we don't actually have to get to a point where we know if God is real, because this AI works in the background itself to teach itself.
Well, that's the next level, right? I don't even know if they're working towards it now or if they're there now, but
well, apparently the one that I showed you, apparently the way it's different from ChatGPT, and again, I don't know this stuff as much as that guy, but in AI, there's two versions of AI. One that only takes in what you give it and works on that, no background work, and one that works on the background without you prompting it.
I think it still needs a prompt, but the difference is the main one is that it works in the background.
Yeah, the main one is that it works in the background. That's pretty big, bro.
The one thing when you talk about AI in general and computer interfaces or anything in this space is that till now, and it still might be for, I don't know if we've gone past it or not yet, but it's always been built within the constructs of the human capacity. It's built within that. It comes from our knowledge. It's using our knowledge base, and it's taking from that. So that's when people talk about aliens, right? Because any kind of like extraterrestrial information becomes that's a total game changer. Because you're like, okay, we live on Earth, and if we can construct a system that has all of Earth's information, that's great. But how about like, could we take something that comes from outside of that? At that point, that becomes interesting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's because it doesn't have to be something that we've discovered. It could be beyond us.
Can it though? I don't know, because it's built within.
Well, I wonder
right?
if resources of different frequencies can be reached out that we don't know about to outer space, beyond. I mean, we've tried, but again, we work shifts, bro. We work fucking human hours. This is a computer. It works at different hours, at different speeds.
I mean,
like, you know what I'm saying?
But like, I mean, that's kind of weird, because when you talk about like trying to bring out signals to like whatever, like those are done on computers that work all the time. So
no, I understand that there's an automation to it too, but because this works in the background 24/7, it's not just about finding a star or finding fucking God or whatever, or connection with an alien. It's that it's automated to a point where it's like non-stop AI working in the background, like millions of downloads, millions of verifications per second. It's unreal how fast this stuff is. I don't think that we've ever had something like this. Again, I could be wrong.
I don't
could be
think
wrong.
we're at the level where you're thinking of.
I think
Yes.
it's doable in
Yes.
our lifetime, though. That
Yeah.
level where it is kind of searching through the universe for us, basically. For something like God or something. This is the thing though with human nature.
Have you had a recent God? You mentioned God a lot in the last 5 minutes.
No,
You had a
but
recent conversation with someone?
No, I don't think. I
No.
don't think I. The thing is, God's never proven itself to me in any terms, really. Like, there's times in my life where I realize, like, certain things I'm pretty blessed in, but I think that's just from getting humbled in life, and then you just realize what you have. Anyway, my whole point is if we find out God's not real, do you think people are gonna agree?
No, because you have to remember there's a large group of people who are religious that are religious and not through logic. Logic will not help them or not help them in their religious beliefs.
What about you?
I could be swayed.
What if your parents are after this said situation?
What do you mean after the situation?
Well, we are presuming that, we create an AI that breaks through and realizes that there's no God in our universe
Okay, sure.
or beyond our
But
universe.
what do you mean? Well, you're like your parents are after this situation.
Let me explain. So that's the situation.
Okay.
Right? In that world, let's say your parents are one of these people where I'm not saying they are.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to
no,
hit
no.
home.
Okay.
That believe God even though it's
I
been
see.
proven, and then they kind of try to get you on. I don't like, again, none of this is real. They try to get you on that side where they're like, come on, are you trying to, like, they try to, like, how do I say this? They try to shame you into becoming religious again.
No, they would never do that because even we've actually had similar conversations in the last few years just about religion in general, and about because they understand that my upbringing in religion was a large part of them bringing me there as a child, right? So when you bring a fucking newborn to church, you raise them through church. They're going to be culturally religious, right? If you from birth, you're going every Sunday, and then that's just natural. But then we talked about the idea. It's like, okay, well, you've obviously got past that. If you stopped coming to church, we wouldn't force you back into it. At this point, you're now an adult. You need to be making your own decisions. And they actually do believe, not everyone does, but they actually do believe that a person's religious journey is theirs and theirs alone. There are a lot of people that don't believe that.
Yeah, that's pretty
There
enlightened thinking.
are a lot of even Christians that don't believe that and that don't agree with that idea that you should be able to choose your own path when it comes to religion, that your path is set, you should be following the certain word or whatever. So my parents are not like that, which is why they've always had the ability to make friends with people from different religions.
Yeah.
Like my parents are I think they might be the only people that I know, but a few that are actual, like, let's call them like social friends with like people who are Jehovah's Witnesses. I've never heard of anybody do this.
I've never heard this before.
It was a long time ago. My dad, you know how they always knock on doors, right?
Yeah.
Back when we were in Burnaby, my dad opened the door to these. He would always open the door and say, "Hey, hi, how's it going?" Blah blah.
Yeah.
Talk for a bit, and he mentioned that he was Catholic, and that's generally the cue for most of these guys to just
Get
go
the
away.
fuck out
Yeah.
of there.
One time, I guess two of these guys who were also Latino, they stayed and they kept talking with my dad, and they're like, "Hey, do you mind?" And my dad's like, "Yeah, sure. If you want to talk, let's talk." He's
Yeah.
like, "No problem." So we sat him down, gave him some coffee, and then they were just chatting. And it's so funny because I've heard it presented different ways, but people talk about the idea of if you expose yourself to different views, that is the mark of a confident human being,
Right.
because
You're willing to listen.
you're willing to listen and you're willing to challenge your own beliefs.
Right.
And if you believe in yourself and your own beliefs, seeing
You're
different
welcoming
views.
of other views
No, not only that, but doing that
Yeah.
will strengthen your own.
because you're testing.
Yes, exactly.
troubleshooting.
Right?
Right.
Or it might, whatever. But if you stay in your own, if you stay with your beliefs, it will strengthen that resolve.
For sure.
So it's the mark of a secure individual. And my dad did that a lot. And I remember, he was talking to them. And so he was, they would present, do their thing. But my dad's like, cool. Yeah. And then it'd be done, and they're like, hey, and he's like, no, I'm okay. He's like,
Yeah, I'm good.
I don't need to, like, I'm not gonna come to your church or whatever, because I don't want to. But you guys are welcome to come anytime, and you guys whatever. So they became friends, and then we started inviting them over for dinner and stuff. And I remember
That's cool.
for the beginning, they would come over. They would do like a half an hour like session
Right.
where they just like talk to my parents and like talk about their version of the word and all that stuff, and then we'd have dinner.
Right. 30-minute session.
But even through all that, like, that didn't change anything. We never went to their thing. It was more of like, Matt's like, yeah, sure, no, that's cool. He's like, he's like, I don't believe.
It's pretty common, I think, among older Latin families to have this social dynamics, kind of welcoming other races and other ideas.
Very much so, I think. Yeah.
I've experienced this. I once was really into Latin chicks, and I dated a handful of them, and kind of met their families, and it's across the board, man. They're so welcoming people, like Mexicans, even Argentinians,
Colombians,
like the ones that like are stereotypically not. People say they're not welcoming, like Argentinians or some Mexicans. They're super welcoming. I've never experienced any kind of like hatred or anything like that. I mean, afterwards you break up. Obviously, they're not going to be your friend.
Yeah, I mean,
but like initially they try to welcome you. Like they don't give you shit. Whereas I've dated certain Korean chicks or white chicks where their father's like really into their kind of ideology or what kind of life that they want to give their daughter or what kind of path that they want her to take.
Yeah.
And, it didn't involve me. And they were like very predominantly strong on that sense, on that accord where they're like, okay, they're going to like die on that hill. So it's interesting to see that, across the board, there's cultures that want to integrate with other cultures, which is really interesting. And then there's obviously the ones that don't. And it's also interesting because you're willing to die on that hill for what?
Yeah.
Because anything you do in this life really doesn't matter because it ends so fast. We were looking at pictures of me, passport pictures. We didn't realize, like I didn't realize, I genuinely didn't realize that was 6 years ago.
6 years ago, yeah.
Right? Like I look at that picture and I'm like, I don't think I got old or anything like that. But I look at that picture, I'm like, that's a different fucking person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, especially because you see it and you know what that guy, now as soon as you realize the date, you realize what that guy was about back
fucking
then.
Tren. Fucking
Amongst
Tren.
other substances.
The problem with Tren is like the toxicity, and the other problem with it is like when I was doing it, I didn't go on Caber.
What is Caber?
Okay. I think it's called cabermyphene.
Okay.
Which is it lowers lactate. So
lactate?
Yeah. So
okay.
it's prolactin is the hormone that it lowers. So if you don't take it, what happens is some guys, this didn't happen to me.
Tits?
Not only tits, but they leak.
Damn, bro.
This also happens from DECA and NPP, which is short.
Have you had many people? Sorry, you have to excuse this.
Oh Jesus Christ, bro! Fuck you.
Have you met many guys personally that have had those
Lactation?
issues?
Yeah, 100%. A lot of guys. Got more guys that keep their hair have the problem with that than guys that go bald.
Interesting.
Guys that go bald have less side effects in general. They don't have as much tit side effects. Like they don't have bitch tits.
So is it a choice where you say, okay, you know what? I'll give up my hair, but I won't have any of these other side effects?
It's a genetic thing. Some guys keep their hair. That means that they have lower DHT running through their body. The guys that lose their hair have higher DHT running through their body.
Yeah.
So it's that old adage, like basically, if you're bald, you're generally hairier than if you weren't going to be bald. So like you see this in siblings where one sibling is bald and the other one isn't. And then body hair, it's like a direct correlation where the one that's bald is hairier.
What about someone
and that just means that they have higher DHT. They have more male characteristics to them.
What about someone who's not as hairy and is also running high on DHT?
Well, it's correlated, right? So it's relative to the race and it's relative to the family. So sometimes you can't see the correlation because they don't have a sibling to compare to, or both siblings are bald. But again, it's relative to the genetic potential that they have of getting hairier or not, and how much. Like if you get an Asian guy, whether he's bald or not, generally unhairy in the general public.
You see, I'm really just asking these questions for myself.
Yeah.
I was like describing myself. I'm like,
Yeah.
what about someone who's
Well,
got
you're
high
hairy.
teeth?
Well, think about it like this.
I'm not that hairy,
No,
though, which is weird.
but
I am.
Let me explain this to you.
But I'm not.
Do you have ass hair?
But of course.
Okay, then you're hairy.
Yeah, fair enough.
So like, okay, so how come you're more Spaniard? I can just tell.
Yes.
And I know you for a long time, so
Yeah.
I kind of know your backstory. Spaniards are hairier,
That's true.
generally,
Yeah,
from
yeah.
even what I've seen.
No, it's 100%. You look at the
Yeah.
pure races. You look at a Spanish man, and you look at a
Siberian man.
Native American,
Yeah, fucking
like
Siberian.
a Mayan, an Incan, whatever.
They're Asian.
Yeah,
They're Asian.
they really are.
They're fucking Asian, bro. They
Although
come
they're-
from, there's parts of fucking Iran that have Mongolians and shit.
Yeah.
Siberians that look fucking native, bro.
There's some interesting
Like,
theories
bro,
about
when
that,
I when I
actually.
came to Canada, right, and I saw native people,
You're
I
like,
was
yo,
like,
my brothers.
I thought they were like from that side of Iran.
Yeah,
I thought
yeah,
they were
yeah,
Russian.
yeah.
First few days, like when I was like fucking, I don't know, first came here, I started like talking to them in Russian,
You're
like
hey,
few
you,
words.
You too?
And then nothing, bro. The guy was a fucking drunk.
Did I ever tell you about the story where my dad went grocery shopping and he got asked? My dad knew he had like 2 months of English in him, maybe. And he gets stopped in Commercial Drive and the guy's like, hey man, what tribe are you from?
Yeah.
That's like, what the
What are you talking about? You
well,
fuck.
Like he'd only first of all, I could only understand like half of what the guy was saying, but then the guy was also pissed drunk, and he just kept repeating like, "What tribe are you from?" And then eventually my dad, he was like, "Okay," and whatever something in Spanish, and then the guy's like, "Oh, okay, never mind, man," and then he left.
Yeah.
But that stuck with my dad ever since. He's like, "Yeah, that was like my
Jacob.
first fucking interaction." Imagine
Moo
that.
Kitchen. That's where we're going first.
Oh, dude, that's solid.
Is it? Have you been there?
No,
I don't know these places, bro.
how many reviews? Hold on.
I've never been.
Oh, dude,
here.
that's solid, dude. 4.4, 200 cents. Solid, dude.
Solid place, huh?
I know it should be.
And then, okay, bro. See you,
See you with no underwear.
bro. He's, I'll take this all off from here,
Oh yeah. Okay.
but this is
You
for
want
him.
to
'cause-
clap
Well,
for
I mean,
record?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. So, that's what it is.
It's all for him.
Well, this is for him. He's bringing some girls.
Oh,
from
it's
fucking
it's for
Korea.
him, but for that, yeah.
This guy has like 800 fucking Korean girls that are friends.
Jesus.
He's like, I'll set you up with
Every
her.
every time you go out with him, it's a bunch of different
Girls.
every time.
I don't know where he finds them, and I'm like, are you not fucking them?
And he's like, no.
Like, we can clap back here, but I'm like, are you not fucking them?
Yeah.
Like, why are you not fucking these girls? Like, I don't understand. He's like, no, man. And I'm like, well, then this makes sense. I don't believe in having a girl that's your friend.
Oh yeah.
Because if she, generally, the girls that I'm not attracted to also have so far in my life not said anything to me that I was like, fuck, I should keep you as a friend.
I got a question for you. At what point do you consider a person, man or girl, whatever, a friend?
Mm.
What point do they go from just somebody you know, like an acquaintance, we'll say, to like a friend?
It's a dance.
Right?
It's a dance. And you know what the dance is different dances. One dance, I can simplify this for you. For me, it would be I do something for them and they reciprocate.
Okay.
So something big, not something like I give you a
Yes,
piece of
yeah,
tissue
yeah,
or
yeah,
some
yeah.
shit. It's like something you relied on me for this, and then I relied on you for something. And then now there's a connection. I can rely on you.
So what if you never get the chance to do something big?
I
They just stay as acquaintance, right?
Yeah. Generally, man, I don't really befriend too many people. You've known me for a long time.
Yeah.
I keep my circles very small. I'm very hesitant to make new friends. So I'm probably the wrong guy to ask. But I'll tell you my 2 cents about it. If it doesn't come to that, it's somebody you know, but you've never really hung out with.
Okay. The reason that I ask this question,
Yeah.
just because when you're going over and you were explaining what you were explaining, I'm thinking to myself, well, what if this guy doesn't even consider these girls friends? Those are just people that he knows, right?
Yeah, I don't think.
That
I
could
think
be a-
it's,
that
it's
could be a
much more
possibility.
fluid
Yeah.
in his head than it is in mine. I don't think he gives a fuck.
Because
But
I know what you're
it's-
saying.
It's funny. It's funny because I have a much more set out idea of what I want than he does. He
Yeah.
has a very like I don't give a fuck. Like I'm just trying to make money right now.
Yeah.
That kind of idea, which is perfect idea to have it's a perfectly healthy idea to have as an adult male.
Yeah.
But again, for me, it's like I'm much more controlling. So certain things I want at certain speeds.
Mm.
So it's kind of a con, actually. It's not a pro for sure.
Oh, to
for
do what?
sure. To have such set guidelines because
I
you're
see.
gonna go against the grain so much more. And that's the problem I've had in my life, where it took me so much longer than other people to get to a certain spot. And it's because I went against the grain at all times. It was like retardation. You know, it's like going to school, but let's do 3 other things too.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's never been like, let me focus on one thing.
Right.
I'm going to master this one thing. Cause I never really wanted to master anything other than like comedy, bro. But I'm also a realistic, econ guy. So it's like, if you're going to tell me, I'm going to hit up like fucking 17 open mics a week. All right, bro. How much money are you racking in?
What do we do? What is this?
Yeah.
We going on welfare checks?
Yeah, what are we doing
Or
here?
what?
We're gonna do we're gonna do the road on $4. Like,
Yeah.
what's the plan here? So I'm realistic with it. So at this point in my life, I think it's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting because we have guys like fucking your boy, Book of Eli, just fucking dazzled, dog. Like I'm just trying to wrap my mind around like what the environment was. I kind of want to go there, but again, I wouldn't have much to say. I think I would clown the guy because I don't have remorse. That's kind of why I don't come, because I think it'd be interesting just to see him. But I couldn't hold myself back, and I'd probably just give in to him, bro.
That's okay. So we're gonna get into this really quickly until let's get into it until we wrap, and then that's it. And then we call it.
10 minutes.
Is that when you got to wrap?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Just cut me off.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got the big fucking.
All right, hold on. You take a couple tokes of this. I'll take a couple tokes, and then we'll talk. Yo, so be honest. What'd you think of that booty?
Solid, dude.
That's fucking fat ass, right?
All right. Let's get into this elephant in the room.
Yeah. Book of Eli, bro.
Dude, let's not. That's a bit too close.
No, it's not.
It's too close.
Book of Eli, bro.
It's too close.
It's not the fucking guy's name. It's Book of Eli.
All right, dude.
And it's very fitting because it's a story.
Those who know will know, and those who don't will have no idea.
Fuck them then.
So no,
Fuck
because
'em then.
honestly, like, and we'll get into this, and you'll see why I'm,
You felt bad.
bro. 100% real with you because we've been real with each other before. Honestly, really sad.
Drink that shit.
Honestly, no, it's almost done. Honestly, really sad. Now that like I think about it and I reflect, what the fuck are you doing?
Drink this.
Why?
Because you're coughing, dog.
Oh yeah.
You fucking idiot. Sad, yeah. Go on.
Thinking, like reflecting on it now, just the overall experience I think about, I'm like, man, it's actually really sad because I knew this guy at one point, and you wouldn't, if you would have told me 5 different scenarios 10 years ago, I'd be like, yo, which of these do you think is going to happen? I would have not picked this one as one of those options.
Okay.
I just don't, I can kind of see now looking back on it, some markers.
Yeah.
But back then, none of those markers would have been so strong for me to be like, yeah, you know what? You're definitely like a red flag, and I think you're going to be in a situation like this.
It takes
10
a
years
special
down the road.
person to predict this, dog.
Yeah.
If you could predict this, you could predict more than the stock market. I promise you.
So I guess getting down into it for real, because we only got 10 minutes or so.
Yeah.
The I'll break it down really quickly, and you can ask me questions.
Yeah.
Me and a friend went to see another old acquaintance from back in the day who is not doing well mentally, and he is in the hospital right now. And it was the first time I've seen him since we all graduated, so that'd be almost 12 years now.
Jesus.
And he
We're getting old. I love this.
looked disheveled, looks, yeah, honestly, if you just saw him on the street, you would say he's homeless.
Yeah.
Because the facial hair is completely like just not groomed at all. Hair's grown out, stained clothes. Like it's not, you know what I mean?
Smells?
No, I mean they bathe you there. So,
Okay.
Couple, I guess, lighter-hearted moments. Food's dog shit in there.
Is he strapped like to
No,
a
no,
fucking
not.
bed?
It's not like that. Because if he was like that,
Dog, because if you went in there and he had
No.
a mask on, I would give him
If
the
it-
highest of high props.
if it was like that, we wouldn't have been able to see him.
I would,
Because that's like protective, right? You're not allowed to.
at
see-
that point,
you're
I'm
not allowed-
giving you a shank. 'Cause
You're
you
not
deserve
allowed.
it.
You're not allowed visitors when you're like that.
Dog, that'd
So
be sick.
it was actually it was very casual the way
Yeah,
we saw
yeah,
him.
yeah,
So
yeah.
we went in. We had to call the nurse to double check that he was still admitted because this guy doesn't have a phone. He doesn't.
Yeah,
there's no
yeah.
quick way to get a hold of him.
He
Really,
doesn't have income.
there's just asterisks that actually he does.
Welfare?
Yes,
Okay.
but we'll get into it. My buddy called. He's like, "Hey, I'm looking for so and so. Is he here?" They're like, "Yes, he is." Well, here's the phone to him. So he was actually talking to him when we were down at the information desk.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, I can take visitors, so you guys can just come up. And so we went upstairs, and it's a locked hallway because it's a fucking it's what it is, like where people can't leave.
Yeah.
Right. So we get buzzed in, and yeah, it's super casual. We the hallway, and he's there with his nurse, and we're like, hey, how's it going? And then we go down to this like the end of the hallway where these like recliners to just sit in. And we just took a seat, and then we just started chatting. So it was a very casual encounter.
Right.
But I sit down and I don't know what to expect, right? Because like I said, I haven't seen this guy, and I haven't even been talking to this guy. You kind of talked to him through our mutual buddy.
No, I talked to him
Oh,
personally.
you talked to him.
Yeah,
There you
yeah,
go. So
multiple times.
there you go.
He's crazy.
I haven't talked to him. He's
Yeah.
officially diagnosed with psychosis.
Yeah.
So that in
Makes
itself is
sense.
serious enough. I mean, to be admitted into a place like this
yeah,
is
you have to be crazy.
it's not by accident.
No.
Right? Because if it was, they would send you home right away.
Well, the only thing I just want to butt in, I know you're not done that,
No, it's okay. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
is that if you don't have motivation as a guy, there's something wrong. And the most potent part of my conversation with him over, I don't know, last 2 years or whatever that I've tried to reach out through our mutual buddy, was that he's just not motivated. It didn't make sense why this guy's so much more educated than me, yet he's doing so much worse.
After
It just didn't make any fucking sense. And I was like, what have you gone through that this is the case?
yeah,
Did you go to prison? Did you have a loved one die? What happened? Why do you feel so betrayed and negative?
I think there's some backstory. After seeing him, I think there might be a little bit there now, like a bit more insight to that.
Yeah, go ahead.
One thing before I get into that I would say is, after seeing him, I wouldn't say it's motivation. I've honestly, and this is my opinion, I think he's just lost. And people say that, and you're like, man, that sounds so fucking gangster.
Yeah, but lost in what?
Okay, what I mean is, I truly think he's lost, and he does not know his place in the world. He just doesn't. He
Who does?
No, I mean, you might not know your true purpose in life yet, or you might not feel like you're fully, centered or whatever, but you know how the world works to a degree, and you know how to make sense of it to a degree. I don't think he does in so many ways. He can't grasp certain fundamental things that you and I go through, even though we don't like, but we understand because we know these are things we need to do to continue on so we can find what we really want to do. So we know that we have to get gainful employment. We know we got to kiss ass sometimes to get things done. We know we got to talk to people a certain way to get things done. We know that there are certain things that we have to do in order to, we know we have to pay rent. We know we have to fucking own a phone to get some fundamental basic things that he can't quite grasp or he doesn't want to.
Yeah.
And those things are preventing him from living what most people would consider a normal lifestyle.
Right.
Because imagine if I'm not saying you do, but if you thought phones were dumb, you're like, I don't like phones, I don't like social media. Okay, that's fine. But you still do it to a degree because you're like, that's a fundamental aspect of being able to fucking function in society. Because you're like, all right, you know what, I'm not saying you do, but you're like, I might hate people, I might want to do my own thing also. But you will still...
You got to play the game.
Exactly.
You got to play the game.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
You understand the game and you will play it.
You got to play it.
And you might have other ideas for what you want to do, but you're like, I will do this.
Yeah.
Because I know how it works.
You got to come through the trenches, man. That's what it is.
I think
He doesn't know that.
he either doesn't know it or he is so stubborn that he doesn't want to play.
I think
And it puts him in a position where he is constantly in battle with everything around him.
Yeah.
Whether it's, and now I'm getting into this now, whether it's his family, whether it's his friends, colleagues, associates, you name it. He is, I think, alienated himself from just about every interactive circle you can think of. Family, friends, classmates, instructors, professors, basically any associates.
Yeah.
Some of them have been violent interactions, which is why he is where he is now. Some of them have been just verbal altercations. Some of them have been online interactions.
Yeah.
But he has managed to alienate himself from everywhere. And some of the things that he's talked about, I'm like, bro, how are we? I'm like, I don't even know how to respond.
Give me an example. Give me.
He's writing a book.
Right.
The way that he talked about it, I'm thinking like, oh, this has to be like some like 200 pages, like, oh, it's, you know, like whatever, like,
Yeah.
like a book.
Yeah.
And, you know, my buddy asks him, you know, how much have you written? And he's like, oh, I'm almost done. You know, it's like, I'm really quite there. I'm pretty close. 15 pages.
Yeah. He's retarded.
15 pages. And he's like, oh, but it's like a manifesto.
Yeah,
Which,
yeah.
fair enough. That's what it is. But
Okay,
I'm like,
yeah.
okay. The other one,
That's like an overstatement for this shit.
he's big into this.
Yeah.
Huge into this.
That's
He
the
asked
thing,
he asked
though,
my
man.
buddy if he could, he asked both of us. He's like, hey, do you mind if you, he's like, visiting hours are until 9. Do you mind if we go, if you guys go and grab me some weed? Bring it. I'm like, bro, I'm
No,
not
dog.
smuggling you in fucking
That's
marijuana.
fucking nuts.
No.
That's a felony.
Yeah. And
For you? Of
Yeah.
all people? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, dog, if I... Listen, let me tell you something right now,
Yeah.
okay? Listen, dog, if one day I was going to get a bullet in my head and you fucking took it, right? You took it and like you fucking shot the guy back with a gun you randomly had. Because
Yeah.
I know this is never going to happen.
yeah.
And you ended up going to prison because you protected me. Dog, best believe
Putting it in
putting
your ass.
money. I'm putting money on the books. I'm coming there every time I can get visitation. You know I'm fucking smuggling some shit up my ass.
Yep.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah, that's
And
my
you know
dog.
what?
That's my
You know
dog.
what? You know what? It's I'll even take pride in that shit. I'll make sure I'll douche so when I take it out, it's not disgusting. You know, that's the type of respect I would have for you. But other than that, if I just randomly
I know.
see you and I'm
Yeah.
gonna come visit you at your hospital because you're fucking retarded, well, dog, I'm not gonna fucking give you weed that's up my ass, bro. That's ridiculous.
The other part is this is not his first time. Did you know this?
Yeah, bro.
I didn't know this. I know you know this
Yeah.
because I was told afterwards when I was having food with Buddy, but I didn't know this is like multiples now.
No, he's been admitted
yeah.
multiple times before.
I think last year was the first time, and then
Yeah.
since then it's been like incidents.
When I was talking to him, he just got out the first time.
Yes, yeah. Buddy mentioned that. So a couple of things, you know, no, well, yeah. I mean, he's obviously been diagnosed by a
Yeah.
hospital psychiatrist. He's very short term. He's got to get the hell out, and this is where I started getting sad because I started
realizing.
not only that, but I drove through the downtown east side
Yeah.
this morning, right?
Yeah.
So this is where it actually all connected, kind of came full circle for me.
Ah, Hector.
Buddy's got to get out in a week. He's gonna get thrown out.
Yep.
He has right now no place to go, so his
Yeah.
only option is a shelter or the streets.
Right.
He gets
This guy's mom kicked him.
a
out.
month. Yes, well, yeah, because he got violent with her. So
Fuck. Imagine that.
Imagine that.
I'm a violent fuck, and
Yeah.
there's certain rules.
Yeah, but you don't get psychotic episodes.
Not like this. Not like this.
So
I'll punch a kid a couple times and then bounce.
let me finish the circle here. He's got to leave. Shelter or streets. He only gets I won't say how much because it feels weird, but he only gets a small amount per month in
Gino?
disability.
Gino?
About.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
In disability.
Yeah.
And he's free to do whatever else. I mean, he can find online work if he can, you know, whatever, then yeah, sure does that. But he gets at least that, which is not much.
You can't
'cause
do
gotta,
construction?
You got to cover, bro. I wouldn't. This guy, I think, is capable to just be like, one day shows up, he's like, I don't understand the concept of planned future.
Oh,
human buildings.
Lord.
Stuff like this.
Bro, he's
You
an
know what I mean?
LGBTQ.
No, it's no that.
retarded.
I don't know. Anyways, so
He's a victim.
you put these things together, and you start to realize that the way that we are set up right now as a society in British Columbia, we are really not setting certain people up for normal societal success. Because someone like this
Damn.
needs a place, a
Guidance.
safe place to stay,
Yep.
some amount of guidance
Yep.
to get him to fit into some part and be an integrative part of society.
He needs a parole officer.
Right now, he is, and that's the thing, he gets a social worker right now in the hospital. As soon as he leaves, that's
Done.
it, done.
Yeah. Welcome to free healthcare, you bitch.
And
Trudeau.
when he's out there, I can connect the dots so clearly and see how so many people fall into such shitty situations. And you look back, because we just talked about it right now. We're like, oh, it's 12 years. Bro, 12 years went by like that. Fast forward another 15 years like that.
You're 40.
You can see how somebody, imagine spending 10 years on the street.
drugged out.
You have no idea.
Drugged
Yeah,
out.
dead, drugged out, or like you have no, there's so many ways that this can turn out poorly. So you can see why this morning when we were driving through where we were driving, imagine how many people started out like
Just
Homeboy.
like that. Just like that.
It fucked me. Like I'm like, damn, man, that's crazy.
I'll tell you though, sometimes this shit is luck of the draw with
I
mental
agree.
health and
I
stuff
agree.
like that. Just certain people, they have certain genetics, and it's just like it's bad. Where I don't give a fuck is from the very beginning. I think the number one thing that I rely on is, as thick-headed as I could be sometimes,
Yeah.
I still evaluate my actions and my ideas to an extent where I can dissolve in society somewhat, where I am not constantly attracted by police problems and shit like that. Again, it's how much peace do you want? You have to just agree on certain things. Like you know, if you wake up one day and you're like, man, I don't get the concept of working all day and doing a 9 to 5 and getting a paycheck. It's like, well, okay, you have a better idea, go do it. If you're not successful, then that's the realistic part of life.
Yeah.
You got to deal with it. You got to take a paycheck if you're not smart enough to do something better. It is what it is. The sad part of his story is this. He never got recognition for what he does good from anybody.
Yes.
And initially it was, he took rejection from the general public of friends, family, shit like that. Then it turned into somewhat aggression when his colleagues and teachers and stuff didn't give him the same recognition.
Yes.
Then that turns into more aggression, and now he's dealing with police, family. Like, bro, you have to be nuts to hit your mother.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have to be nuts to hit your parents, but like, let's just say your dad's trying to hit your mom. Well, you're gonna knock him out. That's just how it goes, right? You know. But aside from that particular 1% situation, you're not raising your hand to your family. What are you, nuts? Why?
Yeah.
Like, they're your only people that care about you somewhat unconditionally. The closest thing too.
There are certain natural laws, and I believe that's one of them.
Bro, I mean, there's so many, but still, like, as a civilized person, there's so many. That once there's some brotherhood in you, I think that's another aspect that he's missing, is a brotherhood connection with a few people that really, like, if I step out of line, start doing meth, I would expect you to come up to me and be like, yo,
Bro, I've done it for less.
why are you doing
I've
meth?
done it for less.
That's what I'm saying. But yo, I'm not nuts to go do meth. That's retarded. Right? Like, all you need in
That's
this
actually understating it. I've done it for far, far, far less. Because like saying less than meth is like, that's like assuming that
Yeah.
you've done like some crazy. No, I've done it for way less
bro,
than
I
that.
haven't even done blow.
That's what I've
never
done it for
blow.
way less than
Yeah.
that. I've done it from like basic shit. So yes, best
Yeah.
believe I would.
Yeah, but I think to wrap it up, it's 3 things: to be able to value yourself, to have like a group of friends around you that, like, whether they do it harshly or very nicely, because people have different styles. Like our boys, they
Yeah,
get,
yeah.
you know, in the group chat, they get all sensitive, and so do I.
You
Fuck.
can't stay in your own mind and world indefinitely. It's not a good place to be.
You need exterior evaluation.
You do.
You need that,
You
because
do.
if you don't, how are you gonna be on the breaking edge of life? Like, how are you gonna constantly improve?
I also believe you truly need to want it. right? Like it's not enough to you just get it and people like tell you. You need to want that feedback,
Oh, bro.
even if you're not gonna like what's coming out the other end.
you got to take it.
You need to be like, you know what?
You gotta
I
take
might
it.
not like what so and so is gonna say, but I need him to tell me.
Yeah. You
I
gotta take
need
it.
that to come in from like multiple people, because otherwise you're
What are
only
you
going to
doing?
listen to what is in your own head. You're like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is what I think is best, and if I'm not hearing it from him, I'm cutting him off, and if I don't like what he's saying, I'm cutting him off too.
Yeah.
Can't have that.
No. It's sad, bro. And I would just want to end it on this is like, fuck, man. Like, it's tragic. As much as I don't really, feel sorry for people, it's still sad to see another statistic. It's fucked up because I say the same thing if I never knew
Yeah.
Buddy, right? If I saw some fucking kid on the street that just got shot by cops, I'd be like, fuck, man, another one. Like, why?
It makes you put things into perspective.
Yeah, it's so fast, this
Right.
life. It's like, I don't think we get enough precautionary measures from our parents, or I don't think even if we do, we take it too seriously. But life is like fucking nuts.
Mm-hmm.
It's nuts. Like, whether you look at it through the universe, like big picture,
Yeah.
Earth, you look at our environmental things that are fucking going on, or just socially among people and their trials and tribulations. It's fucking nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons I don't believe in God is this. How the fuck can you say that there's one motherfucker upstairs that knows all about all these motherfuckers? Like every problem, not only on our planet, but like any other planet and, quotation marks, other possible dimensions and
Yeah,
universes and shit. Like, bruh.
Mhm.
Like think about the RAM. Just the pure RAM this motherfucker needs. Like
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
RAM in the world can't handle that kind of information,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
We barely can handle our own information. Like we fucking offload every 7 years for credit and shit. It's like, fuck, bro. It's nuts. Anyway, you got any last words?
No, I think that was a really solid. We actually hit quite a few interesting topics there. Obviously, the stuff at the end there for people who are listening, it was obviously a bit heavier than what we talked about at the beginning. But
Sometimes we go heavy, jizzy,
sometimes
bro.
oh my god, just to bring
we
it
go jizzy heavy, dog.
We'll talk about what the hell jizzy means in the next episode, because Christ Almighty.
All right. Hopefully, I forget about that word by
Hopefully.
then, and we move on. All right.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.
Vagina beans.
I prefer that over jizzy.
Yeah, but obviously, bro.
Oh, looking pretty jizzy on that feed.